broadcast on my end. All right, we're all good. Yeah, so my goals are to destroy progressive leftist ideology at every single turn, every chance I get, by any means necessary, as I find them to be a fundamental blight on all of humanity. And so I organize and orchestrate debates between the left and the right, and between conservative Christians especially, and feminists and leftists from all over the world. And I've made a name for myself as an extraordinarily neutral moderator. The show is definitely a tough show for debaters on both sides, but it's a very good show, and people tend to gravitate towards it because they want to debate these ideas.
Yeah. So, how big of a problem do you see feminism as having on our entire society?
Well, feminism is a root cause for it. Actually, it's actually, as I was saying earlier, kind of in the background. Theology is what creates culture. It always creates culture. So people always say politics is downwind from culture, but what's culture downwind of? It's downwind of theology. Well, it's a lack of theology, or occultism in many cases, which led to feminism to begin with. So my wife has a best-selling book called Occult Feminism, which goes over the history of feminism. You can find it on Amazon. It's a fantastic book. And in this book, what she's covering is this kind of step-by-step progression that secularists and different men of power and influence, along with kind of early occultists from the 1800s into the 1900s, influenced women into moving against the patriarchal system, which is inherent to planet Earth.
Yeah.
So I would consider feminism to be one of the greatest fundamental threats to all of humanity, and definitely the prime cause of why birth rates are so low, and one of the prime causes for why the dynamic between men and women has become so screwed that people can't make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, and it's funny, like I've been online for the past couple of years and going into all these different bubbles, and it's like the majority of the men are trying to blame men for this problem. And when they explain like how the men are responsible, I always see feminists kind of pulling the strings in the background. I'm like, you guys do realize that this person is doing this because this, diversity hire is putting pressure on them, or like it's weird.
I think that there's a bit of a fundamental disconnect. So I also fundamentally blame mostly men for this, because I believe that it's within our duty and purview to put a stop to it. And if we're going to live in a patriarchal system, then the patriarchy has to act like the patriarchy. And we are caught in this bad trap where what's happened with men is that we've decided that we're going to become simps for women who are completely fake. They have fake faces that they put on every morning. They have fake boobs. They have fake bodies that are sewn up. They're just fake across the board. But for some reason, men can be compelled into simping for something which is completely fake and just a figment of their imagination. It's the control mechanism there has been incredible. The power, I've called it the simpocalypse. I think that the all powerful simp will basically move heaven and earth for a little bit of female attention in exchange for a little bit of money, and it's a very sad concept. So,
yeah, I've noticed that. I live in College Station, Texas, and it's in a university town, pretty much where Texas A&M University is. And I've noticed a big change in the past 15 years, just in my community. And I think allowing so many women to get into our major institutions has been a big part of the problem too, because they're in all these companies making up all new rules and destroying them.
Well, so a lot of this practice comes from sociological endeavors. So you'll notice that women, they don't really enter into STEM fields, right?
Right.
No applied science, hard science, things like this. They tend to move towards sociological fields,
Yeah.
right? So since they're moving towards sociology, they're able to infiltrate different mass organizations with kind of this degree, these sociological and psychological degrees. You'll find
Yeah.
this a lot in human resources, where psychology is a large portion of your coursework.
Yes.
And as you know, these are all sociological endeavors. So I think that this is one of the major problematic cases for why you see women who have become kind of these backhand leaders inside of organizations,
Hmm.
because they know where all the bodies are buried, right? They talk to all the
Right.
employees, they
Hmm.
know what kind of shenanigans are going on inside of these companies, and they're basically the sweepers, right? They sweep it up.
Yeah. So, do you have much faith in the psychology field as a whole?
None.
Okay.
None. I generally speaking, consider psychology and sociology of all types to be pseudoscientific pursuits, which are completely inaccurate. If you look at the replication crisis, which is the science itself being replicated in
Hmm.
almost all sociological studies, it cannot be replicated up to 70 to 80%, even using the same scientists with the same studies, with the same methods, using the same control groups. The same
Mm.
scientists can't come in and replicate their own research. So I generally tend to consider it to be a pseudoscientific endeavor. Most things that you think are true based on what sociology and psychology has been preaching for the last 40 years are not actually true.
Right.
They're not actually true. For instance, I'll give you an example of this that you may
Mm.
not know. There's no such thing as a psychopath.
Hmm.
No such thing. There's no diagnosis for
Hmm.
psychopathy. There's never been a diagnosis for psychopathy. It's never existed. It's completely made up.
See, I could believe that because I feel like the people that they would label psychopath, it would be like murdery or, rather stoic people that maybe bend the law. But there are people that do that in certain cases for good reason.
Yeah, well, there is. Well, it's not just that, but narcissism is another one. So,
Yeah.
narcissism is another one, which, if you go and you have 5 different psychologists diagnose a person based on the same symptoms, 2 of them
Hmm.
might call him a narcissist, while 3 of them say he has no narcissistic tendencies whatsoever. It's completely open to interpretation.
Right.
2 of the large things which people tend to lean on, you see this all the time in the online space, they say this type of shit. Ready? This X person's a narcissist. Well, what are you
Right.
basing that on? Some pseudoscientific bullshit that I read in a book one day?
Mm.
Then he seems to check whatever these boxes are that I think he checks or she checks, et cetera, et cetera. So you hear people kind of slander each other with narcissist all the
Yeah.
time, with
Yeah.
psychopath all the time, with sociopath all the time. Most of these are not even realistic diagnoses whatsoever.
Yeah. I'm not really a fan of trying to break all these crazy bitches down into like little boxes. I mean, people can be insane for sure when they don't have the ability to believe objective truth and they make up fantasy and live in that. Um, but to try to dissect them into certain kinds of crazy bitches, I didn't ever really understand why it was important.
Well, now, so kind of on the back end here,
Mm.
I was having a conversation with a gentleman in the background, but you guys were saying that you're advocates of MGTOW. Are you a MGTOW advocate?
I am a anti crazy bitch advocate. I do understand a lot of the stories of a lot of the MGTOW gentlemen.
Well, how do you
Um,
know? Well, wait a second. How do you know you're not a crazy bitch? Like you might be. How
I
do you
might
know?
be.
What's the metrics so that we would know that you're not a crazy bitch?
Well, I think mainly just being comfortable with like truth. Like I don't know, when I look at feminists and I look at the contradictions that the things that they say and the hypocrisy, like I don't know, I just think it's mental. Like people that don't have the ability to speak the truth and just be realistic, I think
Yeah, but that's on
calling
both
crazy
sides,
bitch.
right? There's there's plenty of dudes who don't want to speak the truth. There's plenty of girls who don't
Yes.
want to speak the truth, right? So this isn't
Yes.
just isolated by sex, right?
No, no, no. I mean, a male bitch is what? Like somebody that's subordinate and cowardly, like, and
Yeah, I mean, I think
crazy.
that that's probably right. I
Yeah.
think that seems fair, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A dude
I
a
mean,
dude who's a little bitch is a little bitch, right?
yeah. 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 I'm just pretty much anti crazy bitch. I like to talk to people and advocate for things that are going to make society actually better and not destroy it.
Gotcha. Okay, so you would you classify yourself then in the MGTOW category or no?
No, I'm not a dude. I mean, the first acronym of MGTOW is man. So,
Yeah, no, I get it, but there are female advocates for MGTOW, right?
I mean, I understand a man's need to protect themselves in today's society. And you know, I'm not going to tell them what they're doing is wrong because
Yeah, I
there's a
think
lot
that's
of
fair.
women out there that are fucking predators and they take advantage of men on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think that's
So,
true too. I think that
yeah.
that's fair. Anyway, I was just curious.
Yeah. No, my main focus on my channel is the universities, the psychology field, and diversity, inclusion, equity policies, and feminists. I see feminists as being the main proponent of mental illness in our society and the destruction of the family.
So why do
So,
you consider feminists to be the primary proponents of mental illness?
because all of the women in psychology field are feminists and they lie to their people and they build up these clienteles of all these women and tell them, you know, all their crazy bitchery is okay and you can behave however you want, and if somebody tells you no, then you can label them a narcissist.
I
They
think that's
misuse it.
based. That
Yeah.
seems reasonable to me.
Yeah.
All right. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's your interview. I'm here for it. So
Oh, I was curious because I saw you I saw you try to debate some feminists. How how do you what exactly do you get out of it? Do you change their minds at all?
sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes, but mostly the goal is not necessarily to change the mind of the person that I'm debating, but to
Mm.
change their audience's mind. Once they kind of
Mm.
see, once you kind of see through what the person is really about, what they actually think, the
Yeah.
things that they're actually into, um, oftentimes they kind of turn away from that. So debates for larger YouTube personas can be very risky that way. And so
Yeah.
that's why you see many of them not wanting to engage in any type of debate, because once
Yeah.
their ideology is laid bare for people to see,
Right.
many people will abandon it.
Yeah, I've tried to talk to some of these feminists online and they won't talk to me. I actually had to get one cornered at a corporation. So I got to have a sit down with a feminist in the HR department. And that was interesting. The puppetry that these feminists all talk about. Like ideally when I brought up the diversity and inclusion policies at this corporation, like her idea of putting people in these positions at this location was to reflect the community. So the people that look like them, they want the people that are employed at this one place to reflect the people in the community. So they break people down into all these boxes. It's like in my community, there's, I think, a 20% Hispanic, 10% Black, you know, the normal 50% woman. So they want in this organization for that to reflect the community because they think somebody will be more comfortable shopping at this store if they see somebody that looks like them.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, though, doesn't it?
No, I don't know.
No,
It
you
doesn't.
don't think so?
I don't think so. Like, what? Why would it matter? Somebody feeling more comfortable going to a place if they see somebody that's black like them, or somebody who's white like them, or a woman like them.
Well, I
That,
mean, like if you have shopping habits,
yeah,
your whole the whole thing you're trying to do in retail is sell shit to people, right?
Right.
So the whole point's to make like a comfortable environment that they want to go into, and then when you're inside of this comfortable environment, you feel like you're able to spend more money because you're connecting, you're making an interpersonal type of connection with whoever it is that you're talking to. So that's like I guess I can kind of understand why you would want there to be a reflection of the community inside of a store. Whether you get competent employees that way, I think is a totally different story. But I can at least understand the logic of it.
See, when I go to a store, I want the person that works there to know what they're talking about. And my experience with this specific store in the past 5 years, they have replaced people that actually know products and know what they're talking about with people that might look like somebody else that might walk in.
Yeah, I mean,
Back to the
maybe
competency.
I don't know. I'm not like familiar with the way that whole organization is structured. So
Yeah. Well, with your channel, your ultimate goal is to change society or change people's minds and hearts.
change people's minds at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal, of course, like I said at the beginning, is to eradicate leftism as much as I possibly can and progressive ideology across the board, as I consider it to be a dire threat to all of mankind and humanity, and that it's due to their secular ethics that we have low birth rates to begin with, and we
Yeah.
have these massive issues between men and women in the current era anyway. I think that
Yeah.
all of this comes from this kind of ideology, from progressive based ideology.
And that comes from the universities, right?
Well, it doesn't just come from universities, but that's one side of it. It mostly comes, well, I mean, there's a lot of truth to saying that it comes from universities. It's kind of a giant machine. It's an institutional machine. So there's government backing for secularism, and there is institutional backing from different universities, but there's also institutional backing even at the high school level and grade school level, right? So kind of the entire system is based around a push towards secular ethics. So secularism being antithetical to any religious moral grounding whatsoever. And that's never been the way any society's been able to operate. There's never been a secular society in human existence. Even right now in the United States, it's still mostly not a secular society. At least people don't identify that way because they get all of their morals from their Christianity, right? That's the grounding for all of their morality. But as people turn more and more away from the dynamics which are outlined in the hierarchical nature and structure of religion, you find the dominance becomes gynocentric and society begins to collapse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my local university here, there is a feminist that works in physics, and she does a camp every summer for young girls in the middle school to get more women in STEM. Like, she gets government funding to do this camp that's sexist in nature just to try to get more young girls interested in physics.
Sounds right.
So what would you think the I don't want to say easiest, the best way to put a halt to it on the university level would be?
Well, so we have there's kind of a grand 100-year plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the best way to seize control of it again is to kind of recognize that secular progressives aren't having children and only the religious are having children.
Right. Right.
And so what ends up happening as a consequence of this is that as the religious begin to have more children and progressives less children, if the religious are maintaining that their children should go and get jobs in these various institutions and things like this, then you can literally seize control back. So the pendulum will swing the other way because the enemy is thinking itself out of existence, essentially.
Mm. Yeah, I have a couple clients that sent their daughters to university, and by the end of the first semester, they were getting, I guess, berated around Christmas. Like, they were talking to their dad about patriarchy and about how he's racist and all the things because they took, I guess, some social science classes. Like young girls are easily indoctrinated, I think, in these universities versus young men. And I know, like, now we have women graduating 2 to 1 men. Like, do you see a
Well,
shift in
that's
that?
that's always been the case. So women have always maintained higher education levels than men since the institution of public education. Always.
Really?
Yeah, that's always been so. The reason is because grounding foundational principle for men versus women,
Mm,
especially when it comes to things like literacy, things like this. Men can have pursuits which are based around the physical far more often than women can. So women generally tend to stick with academic pursuits far more than men do. Men, it's not a necessity for a man's success story.
mm,
It's just really not. We can move into other independent things. So the ratio is even, as my wife kind of points out in chat, the ratio is even worse now than it used to be. But they've always academically outperformed men because it's because of a limit of options, right? Women can only do X amount of things. Men have a
right.
much wider array of things that they can do to be successful.
Yeah, specifically at this university, because it started as all male military school. And now there's more women going there than men, even though they have the core and big football following and stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Well, the Supreme Court is working on affirmative action stuff. I know they just did a major ruling against it,
Hmm.
which I think will, as far as the diversity, inclusion, equity policies. What state do you live
Michigan.
in? Michigan. Okay, I'm in Texas, where Abbott pretty much is banning all DIE offices and practices, and there's a lot of people freaking out about that. Um, do you think that'll be pretty helpful in stopping some of this?
No,
You don't think so?
no.
Why?
No, well, because it doesn't do anything. They just backdoor it in using the private sector rather than the public sector. So it's not like discrimination stopped existing one way or the other. Whether the
Right.
discrimination, um, uh, maybe you can argue the discrimination used to be, for instance, white companies didn't want black people to come into their companies. Um, you could say, well, that's a discriminatory policy, but it's also a discriminatory policy to go in and demand that a Christian bake your gay wedding cake. That's also a discriminatory policy, right?
Right.
It's just backdoored in. So what ends up happening is that private institutions will create their own policies inside of their private businesses in order to do equity hiring, even if there's no government quota for it, right? They don't care.
Right.
It's all part of the virtue signal. So, no, I don't think that any public policy whatsoever is going to actually stop that sort of agenda because private corporations see it as a virtue signal, and the virtue signaling sells a lot more products. Only recently did we see any backlash towards this with the Budweiser conflict and the Bud Light conflict.
Mm.
Inside that conflict, finally, for the first time in probably a decade, Christians decided that they were going to flex and tell their beer company of choice to go fuck itself, and that they didn't
Right.
want their transgender goddess on their Bud Light can, and that they could go fuck themselves. So it was
Yeah.
pretty awesome to see that firsthand, and it's really smacked the shit out of Anheuser-Busch and their products. It took Bud Light from the number one domestic draft beer, and it's now at number 4, and the decline continues. So yeah, I think that there was a massive backlash, which happened, which was good. But until we begin to do more of that kind of flexing, we're not really going to get anywhere. The way that you change a company's kind of corporate atmosphere for these types of policies is by
Mm-hmm.
disenfranchising the company's products. And the best way you can do that is by not buying them. If you don't buy them. So I've always said I would love it. So somebody asked me once, how would you like it if people put a sign on their door saying no Christians allowed? I would love that policy because then I would know exactly where to spend my money.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would know exactly who to give my money to, exactly who not to give my money to. So that would be my preference, is that I want to know that you hate, that you loathe me, so that I don't have to give you any of my dollars.
Mm.
So that's the way you change the corporate atmosphere. The only way you can do it.
So boycott it.
Well, you don't just boycott it, but you can kind of begin to shift the public consciousness as to what the branding of that product is. So products rely heavily on branding. Your show
Mm-hmm.
relies on branding. My show relies on branding and symbolism. That's what people remember, right? Batman is known for the symbol on his chest. Superman's known for the. If you see the Superman symbol, you know who it represents, right?
Yeah.
If you can change the consciousness of the public to associate that brand with something that they don't like, that's counter political warfare that the right wing has forgotten how to do. You have to change what the brand means. In people's minds right now, Bud Light brand represents the image of Mulroney. And to them, that's disgusting, right? To them, that's disgusting. Now, Bud Light made a tactical error by putting that image on the can, even if it was just for a promo. Once that can was displayed forever in people's brains, branded into their brains now with the brand, is that image, and they can't unsee it. So it was the most single damaging kind of brand consciousness decision, maybe in corporate history. I mean, maybe there's been worse, but I don't know for a company that big that there has. And so you have to shift the public consciousness for branding. We used to be able to do this pretty well through memeing. You would take the brand and then you would kind of meme into existence this horrible thing and associate it with the brand. And that's what would really start to cause havoc for these different corporate entities. And the left is fantastic at doing this, and vegans are great at doing this. They'll take big company brands, meat packing brands, put like dead animals around the brand and things like this. The whole point is to sear into your consciousness that this brand is bad.
Right.
So it's not just a matter of boycott. It's a matter of taking the symbol and perverting the symbol. It's subversion.
That makes sense. Well, sir, do you have any interesting debates coming up?
Yeah, the channels, we do debates weekly, usually, somewhere around 2 to 3 a week, sometimes more than that, depending on what's going on. And then we have a whole array of broadcasts, which cover everything from lunatics on the internet to other crazy people to current events, kind of the whole thing across the board.
Well, I definitely want to share your channel. I have gotten through a couple of your debates, but I am enjoying listening to, I guess, the feminists. Do you find that the feminists all kind of have the same infection?
Yeah, we call them nenemoids.
Nenemoids.
Yeah,
Can you explain that? Yeah.
Yeah, so a nenemoid is a small nanomachine which enters into a woman's brain and causes massive cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
So what these nenemoids do is they take wrong speak and make it right speak. They convince women that they're not wrong about anything. They convince women that their asses should be kissed, and they convince women that reality is non-reality, that they can do things that they can't do. For instance, the nenemoids might convince you that you climbed cell phone towers for a living at one point in your career, even though you never actually did. Nenemoids might convince you that you're competent at cutting down trees and logging. Nenemoids might convince you that you can be a carpenter or a carpet layer. They might convince you of all of these different things. But when you're put out into reality, you find out that all the nenemoids actually did was cause massive cognitive dissonance and a non-awareness of your surroundings and a non-understanding of your physical limitations.
Yeah. I tried to explain this to the HR feminist that was trying to talk to me about how I see women at my workplace.
Well, all women in human resources suffer from nenemoids.
Yes.
All of them.
No, she tried to tell me that women can lift more than men, and that I see stronger women in my environment when I don't. She was literally trying to gaslight me into believing that women are better suited for like lifting, big heavy stuff than men.
Yes, this is a common side effect of the nenamoid nanomachines, which enter into women's brains and cause them this significant amount of cognitive dissonance. Yeah, you'll find them all over HR departments and
Yeah.
faculty dispensing and justice dispensing machines globally. These are the exact people you should be taking on in every aspect of life,
Yes.
shutting them down,
Yes.
and it kind of exposing to the public that these are not people you want to run anything. You don't want them.
Yes.
You don't even want them to run on the street because you can't. They can't be trusted to not run into parked cars. So
Right. Yeah, it was strange. She did say I wasn't or I wasn't allowed to talk about what we talked about during that meeting with anybody at my work. She didn't specify I couldn't talk with it, to anybody outside of my work. But I thought that was really strange. Like what? Why would why would in a corporation? Because she's like, if you have any further questions, just call me. And I was like, that's really fucking weird. I mean, this crazy bitch was literally, I mean, she's nuts if she believes that there's no biological differences between men and women. And the fact that I said that men are stronger than women was my opinion. Like, I think that should be brought to somebody's attention that
who
this
would
woman's,
care? Like
I
who?
don't
But
know.
who would care, right? So this is the problem is that a generalized statement of truth, like on average, men are 4 to 5 times stronger than women. That
Yeah.
on average, their bones are much more dense. They take a lot less damage. They're a
Mm-hmm.
lot less prone to damage from the elements. Okay, they
Right.
can take heat better. They can take the cold better. Now, all of this
Mm-hmm.
is just on average, which is to say, of course, there's some women out there who are stronger than men on average. There are some who exist
Well,
who can fight better than men. There are some
right.
who exist who might be better soldiers than men, but they're
Yeah.
outliers and they
Yeah.
have nothing to do with the average. So when you make
Right.
these descriptive statements about what's averagely true, that's when you
Mm.
see these nenamoids go fucking crazy
Oh,
inside of
yes.
these women's brains. And when you see the cognitive dissonance come out, when they open their
Yes.
mouth, a demonic voice shrilly shouts at you
Yeah.
rather than actually makes an argument or concedes to what's descriptively true.
Yeah, she brought up an example of a previous boss that she had, a woman that was a weightlifter, and that was her justification for saying that the women I work with should be able to lift more than men or something. They make the exception to the rule, and I don't understand why they do that.
Well, I mean, everything within a corporation revolves around outliers. So you're only inside of an organization, you're only as strong as your weakest link. You'll see this in military SOPs as well.
Mm-hmm.
The standard operating procedure inside of like the U.S. Army, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force is that everything has to be boiled down to the lowest common denominator. So all the guesswork is taken out, right? Everything is done uniformly in exactly the same way so that everybody can always do it the same exact way.
Mm-hmm.
So as corporations have taken on these kind of continuous improvement models, they begin to adapt SOPs that kind of move towards the lowest common denominator. And after a while, they become enshrined inside of these corporate bodies as being the way we've always done things. And so any
Right.
type of change is heavily resisted.
Right. Yeah, my next move in this little corporation is taking out this HR lady. Apparently most of her job is to take care of the feelings, the uncomfortable feelings of people.
You'd be like, why waste your time? Like, why waste your time with stupid people? Like, just move past them and move to a place where there are no stupid people. Why end up getting into like an eternal conflict between you and some dumb HR skank? Like, who cares? Should you just be like, fuck off, lady, and just move on? Why embroil yourself or waste any of your time or waste any of your effort to the point where you're thinking about it even when you're not at work? Don't you think that that's bad for you?
No, actually, my only motivation for even working at this place was to get the crazy feminist bitches fired. So I've
They just
gotten,
replace them with new feminist bitches.
well, okay, at my store, even like the last crazy bitch was just fired. She was an ASM. So they've replaced them with with competent men mostly. So I'm actually trying to work my way up into HR and start getting rid of those too. I just want to, it's more of a hobby, I guess. I want to sit down with these feminists and I want ultimately them to be fired out of these corporations because they're sitting making 6-figure salaries doing work mommy stuff while they cut the hours of people that work under them that actually do the work. And I don't really like it.
Yeah, I get it, but doesn't that just kind of sound like jealous, like nerd revenge porn? It kind of sound like jealous nerd revenge porn. Like, I'm gonna get back at these bitches. I'm gonna learn them a lesson that they won't soon forget. I'll be the
No,
one sending them packing out the door. Like, does that kind of sound petty to you?
not really.
No.
No. I mean, because I've been told that in corporate, you're not allowed to say certain things. You're not allowed to speak the truth. And I've been there saying things and I haven't really faced the brunt of what people are afraid of when you can't like speak up about how wrong things are at a workplace.
Yeah, but that's going to be like everywhere on
Right.
planet Earth that you work, though, right? There's always going to be people who are there who you don't like. There's always
Yeah.
going to be policies there which are stupid and don't make any sense, right? So, like, I don't even know why waste your time with a couple of dumb feminist HR, like cat ladies. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
soft-spoken cat lady who's like, now I'm going to counsel you about how your behavior against your coworkers is not correct. And as we go through this
Right.
counseling, I need you to
Yeah.
understand that if this type of behavior is not corrected, it could lead to corporate consequences for, like, who gives a shit? Just get move on with you. Like, get rid of this shit. It's not worth anybody's time, right?
Well, I want to get rid of her though. That job specifically in corporate. I don't think it's actually relevant or good for any corporation to adopt said policies. So I'm trying to kind of do it from the ground up at one specific location.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't understand the sense of it. It's like,
Yeah.
even if you win, you lose, and even if you lose, you win. So, right.
Mm,
So if you lose and you go off and have another job, you've won, right? But even if you win here, you're still in the same fucking company with the same dynamic. Like, what's the point? That's all I'm saying. It just
yeah.
seems like maybe you have a few neomoids up there yourself, GM.
Maybe I do not like crazy bitches, and I don't like them to be in positions of power and authority. I don't think it's right.
Hang on, I didn't know this. Do you know a chick named Everyday Ashley?
Yes, she's a crazy bitch for
She's a
sure.
crazy. Do you not like her?
I'm not a fan now. She's a misandrist.
Do you think Everyday Ashley's a misandrist?
Oh yeah, yeah. She literally gets off on fucking arguing and fighting with men.
Oh, have you talked to her before?
No, she won't talk to me.
What? She won't talk to you
No, she won't. She avoids me. She runs away from me.
for real? Well, because she's in my chat right now. Like, I know her, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Ashley. Do you just like not want to talk to this chick? What's wrong with her? What
yeah,
did she? What did she do? What did she do, Ashley?
yeah. No, when I first came across her channel, she was doing something with another chick, and they were talking about psychology and tearing into some dude, and I think she thought I was a dude at
Oh,
first. Yeah,
well, what if I brought Ashley on right now? Would you talk to her? Because now I
I
kind
would
of want to
talk to
see
her.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah. What do you think,
I've
Ashley?
been I've been dying to talk to her.
I kind of want to bring Ashley on and see this. Hang on.
Yeah,
Hang on a second. I'm going to DM you the link, Ashley. Can you pop on? You want to pop on, Ashley? Let's do this. Hang on a second. See, this is why I love the Crucible. Hang on a second. And I think I've got the link here. I'll send it over. Oh, she says she's at the office. Are you at the office Nina Moiting, Ashley? She says she's at the office. She can't do it.
I need to weigh
Well,
in
hold
this
on, contriver. Hold on. If you want to set one up, I would gladly join a panel with Ashley and talk to
Yeah,
her.
of course I'll
Yeah.
set it up. Of
Yeah.
course I will. Yeah.
I've been not able to have one-on-one conversations online with any of these crazy bitches. So
Makes sense.
yeah, they literally run away from me. So
I need to weigh in on this one because there has been some.
Oh wait, hang on. She said she'd come in for a few minutes here. Hang on.
Okay,
Here we
fine.
go. Here we go. I'll send the link over.
Okay.
Just hang tight there, Taj.
I see the raging tomatoes as well.
yeah.
What's that? Wait, what were you saying?
The raging tomato?
Who the hell? The raging tomato?
There are some.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
These are some of the people. Good mother, it would be better if you explain. Kindly elucidate.
What? Oh, the Raging Tomato? No,
Yeah.
I think she was the one on the panel that I saw originally when I think the Raging Tomato was the authority in the psychology field that she was using for whatever breakdown she was doing of some dude.
All right, yeah, I sent that over to you, Ashley, on Discord, the link for the broadcast, because now I want to see it. Now I want to see what happens. Now I'm just like curious. You know what I mean?
Hmm?
Let's see if she comes on. I mean, you might as well have, what's today? Thursday. Might as well have a little Thursday afternoon blood sports. I think that's always good. Little Thursday afternoon brutality.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, hang on a second. I just want to see if she's actually going to pop on here.
Is it Ninamoid?
Ninamoid.
Hey, what's up?
Ninamoid.
I legitimately only have a few minutes. I'm so sorry. It was like the very end of my lunch break, and I was like, "Fuck."
You got to make it count, Ashley.
Yeah. So, I do. I definitely avoid GM. This is a crazy lady. Like, I avoid talking to her at all costs. I mean, you guys have heard her for like the last 15 minutes, and by the chat, I can tell that most of you see what I'm saying. She makes it like her life's goal to just try to torture and torment people, and she calls herself the mother of like a bunch of MGTOW dudes. It's all really creepy and weird. And the first time, like, she said she wanted to talk to me, I was in her chat and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll pop up, like, whatever. Then I left several comments saying, yeah, whenever you want to have me on. She went on to like tell everybody I was running from her and scared, and like hid my comments. And so after that, I was like, all right, you're just bad faith. So she's tried to bait me several times since then with like weird little videos and live streams where she'll sit there for 5 hours hoping I'll show up, and I never do. That's about it for me on my part.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's it. That's you wanted her here, like she's here. I want to hear the response. Like, what's the deal?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've just seen her behaving very disgustingly towards people online, and I don't think it's
this coming from the chick that like laughs about her kid's teacher killing himself. Like, really? You're saying that?
I don't laugh about my kid's teacher killing himself.
No, there's a video of it.
Hold on. No. I have to weigh in on this one.
No,
No,
contriver.
just a second.
No.
Just a second.
I've got like 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Here,
Who was?
contriver, I'm gonna remove you.
Yeah, get out of here, contriver. They're having a discussion, contriver.
Get him out of here.
Yeah. No, I think you're a part of the sisterhood of the crazy bitch baggage that I've collected along my internet travels. Because it's so strange how you guys all puppet the same bullshit.
Yeah, you don't puppet anything at all. It's based.
What exactly do I puppet? My beliefs?
What exactly do I puppet? My beliefs?
No,
I know.
you
What am I?
puppet
Like, this is the dumbest
you
conversation ever.
you puppet bullshit that is said about me online by other crazy bitches. Like,
This is probably the first time I've ever even fucking said your name on a stream. Don't be full of yourself. Give me a break. If
okay.
I'm gonna come on somebody's panel, yeah, I'm gonna go and look and see, like, well, what content out there, you know? All of it is you being fucking psychotic and talking about showing up at people's work and trying to get them fired. I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. You dox people, dude. You're one of the most dangerous, creepy people I've ever seen online.
Who have I ever doxed?
Dude, okay. You're so fucking...
Who have I doxed?
You've never doxed anybody, huh? And what about your OnlyFans? She has an OnlyFans, by the way. I saw that too, but she made it just to like prove a
Did
point.
you see my OnlyFans?
Exactly. This was her
Did you
argument.
see?
She found her OnlyFans.
No. Did you see my OnlyFans by chance?
Do you have an OnlyFans by chance?
Did you see it?
Do you have one?
Who did I dox? Going back to that. Okay, let's just break down one thing that you're saying about.
Well,
me.
hang on.
Who did I dox?
Do you have an OnlyFans?
I had an OnlyFans for like 2 months with a link to this channel. It was from this channel. It wasn't anything like actual OnlyFans.
That's how she vets out her simps. All right, honestly, I do have to go though.
Who did I dox? At least answer one question. Who did I dox? Yeah. They run their fucking mouth with a whole bunch of shit and can't answer a simple fucking question.
No, I mean, Ashley said she's down to do this debate on the Crucible. I'm fine with that. Like, we can arrange that. We can arrange we can arrange this fight. I think. Okay. I think that's fair. You know what I mean? I was not prepared for the OnlyFans.
What's the fight exactly, though? I mean, they spit out a lot of bullshit that other crazy bitches have said about me online. They puppet it, and they don't have anything to back it up. Like, who did I dox? I've been told that I've been to jail before. My record's completely clean. Like, just a whole bunch of random shit.
Uncle Gunts in the chat, he asked a compelling question.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he like Ashley? Who the fuck said I liked Ashley? I don't know where they came up with that. Who said I liked Ashley, bro? But she can come on and debate. I don't care if she comes on and debates.
I don't know what the debate would be about, really. She's a feminist. I already saw her on Chronic. She already tried manipulating a bunch of dudes online, trying to get people fucking canceled. Tried to get her, 17-year-old niece in somebody's Discord to talk to grown men. Like, that was fucking weird.
And not only that, just one more point. She's talking about someone else having an OnlyFans, but she was giving her nudes, her own nudes, to other people.
I don't have any nudes.
It is just that she was far reticent about mentioning that fact. That is what Ashley is. And that is why she has a reputation, certain reputation on other people's channels who know her and what she has done.
She caused a lot of drama.
What nudes? Wait, what nudes, Contriver? What nudes was she sending?
Nudes are actually, sir, naked pictures of themselves.
Yeah. Who was she sending naked pictures of herself to?
I don't know, but she has, and she has, conceded that herself in the past.
Well, I mean, but I guess.
Her.
So I guess there's a distinction.
If she could come on your reference by giving a StreamYard link, I'm sure, Chad, that she would be far more open enough to tell you where she had given her nudes and to whom.
Well, I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds of people on the show, so
yes, that is why.
Like, yeah, it's not a big thing from my standpoint. I gotta ask this, but I gotta ask, like, I don't think Ashley has an OnlyFans, right?
Yes, but she has given nudes.
Yeah, but like chicks give dudes nudes sometimes, don't they?
Uh,
Like, has
yes.
a chick ever sent you nudes, Contriver?
No.
Oh, come on,
Not
not
even
even
my ex.
once, not even one
Not even my.
time.
Not even my ex. Not even my ex.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, but it is commonplace to do,
Well,
right?
if we are talking about personally, I am from a hardcore conservative family, sort of an orthodox family, come from a village area, not even a urban city like Mumbai or New Delhi or something. So that is just me. But this conversation was all about having you being interviewed, and I think that that would be the best case scenario.
Well, I mean, content's content, right? Like if we're gonna do a Thursday afternoon, um, kind of. I mean, let's face it, right? The interview kind of sucked anyway, so we might as well move it into something that's a little bit more entertaining, don't you think, Contriver?
Well, that would create unnecessary drama for the people who might have a penchant for their own melodramatic tendencies, and that is what it culminated into, which I think I was trying to avoid all along. That is
You got
just my take.
you got to give the people what they want, bro. They want blood. They want blood for the blood god. They want to watch these chicks go head to head and wreck each
I,
other.
I think, but that should not be the case if we are coming from a good faith scenario trying to have a conversation, isn't it? And that too on the premise of an interview itself, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think that conversations evolve, and there's always twists and turns, and there's always things that people don't know about other people that tends to come out in these types of conversations. So, no, I don't think so. I think that having people on who are all kinds of upset about some shit and letting people go at each other, I think that that's fine. In fact, I think it's super productive, right? Like that's how you hash shit out. Don't you think that with these broads like sniping at each other for days and days and days is far less effective than just letting them destroy each other live, and then you can find out like who's right and who's wrong, right?
Well, the thing is, I see a conversation, perhaps it is because of the part of the world I am from. Because if we are trying to have an interview or a conversation, it should be strictly restricted to that.
Oh, okay,
So,
gotcha. Well, we do things a little differently on the Crucible.
oh yes, quite different from the transatlantic cousins, I suppose.
All right, guys. Well, I'm out of time for the day. Was there anything
All
else
right.
that you wanted to discuss or talk about?
No, sir. Thank you for your your advice on the corporate situation.
Yeah, just move on. Don't even waste your time with it. You just a complete waste of time. You'll never get any of that time back in your life. Ain't worth the fight anyway. And there's far easier feminist targets to go after. The whole internet's filled with them. It's a boiling cauldron of these crazy broads. It's a target-rich environment. It's like, just do that.
Okay. I'll think
So,
about that. Thank you, sir.
all right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Figure out how the fuck I get out of this broadcast here. I don't know. I don't even.
I bet those glasses make you see better.